Hi, Taurus. All right. Happy birthday towards the middle of April. Everyone keeps saying, but isn't it Aries season? Yes. It is also Aries season, but it's also Taurus season. So happy birthday. Now, it's going to be kind of a strange birthday and kind of a strange month, and that's why I think I chose to have your reading at night. I always kind of try to feel out which readings should be during the day and which should be at night. And they just kind of work out this way where the heavier readings end up being at night. So is this a heavy reading in a bad way, though, like we've had before? Well, not in a bad way, but we've had some pretty, like, heavy emotional readings, right? So this is a heavy emotional reading, but not with that sadness to it. This isn't about that. This is about heavy emotional, as in it's time to reinvent yourself. Your birthday's coming up. Everything is finally, after years and years, starting to clean up and clear up. I meant clear up, and you guys have to start cleaning up. Now, what do I mean? If you can tell, I'm a little bit nervous about having this conversation. And it's because I think that it hits on something that you guys are very sensitive about. And I'm not really sure how to approach it. So part of what needs to happen right now in terms of your birthday coming up, but also in terms of feeling better about life and stuff and wanting to move forward and have better days and better prospects and meet someone or, revitalize something. Okay, all that. One of the things that you need for that is a revamped self-image, okay? And that's fine, but part of that is I think you guys are, I'm trying to think of how to say this like delicately. My Mercury is in Taurus, so I could very easily say this the wrong way, and I don't want to. I think that you guys can use a little help in the style department. Did that come out wrong? Did that come out like mean? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it to be that way. I just mean that, see, you guys are coming out of like a really hard, dark, like, period, right? Like, it's just been so difficult. And one of the things that can happen when you've been in a difficult place and have really felt, like you were at the mercy of other people and whether or not they wanted to give you attention or not, right? One of the things that can happen without you realizing it is that you don't pay attention to your physical appearance enough. You get stuck in a certain era or stuck in a certain comfortable spot physically that your look doesn't constantly evolve and change, and that's fine. No, I shouldn't say that's fine because it's not fine. Sorry. It's not fine. Because, why is it not fine? Because you're starting to feel better, right? But your externality has to reflect your internal changes. And I would like to give you some scientific examples of studies that have been released fairly recently, within the last, I'd say, decade. Okay. And these are all validated by Scientific American Mind and all the, like, these are legitimate studies in which we have proven, or we have been able to prove, that physical postures And what you do physically with the body has internal repercussions in terms of hormone release and therefore blood chemistry, and that's what makes you who you are. So your internal life is dependent on your hormones. That's why every chakra is tied to a hormone producing endocrine gland, because the chakra is the wheel that provides the life energy that moves that particular endocrine gland to produce the highly specific microbiological markers that then produce your personality, mood, wants, desires, everything. Okay? So we have proven now that, for example, certain physical postures, like standing in the Wonder Woman pose, okay, or the CEO pose, which is like sitting with your feet up crossed on the desk with your hands behind your head. That typical, like, I own the company in the corner, I sit in the corner office pose. So there are measurable changes that happen in the blood chemistry when you sit in that pose. For example, one of the things that happens is that your testosterone shoots up, right? Testosterone is associated with confidence, problem solving, muscle strength. So, right, there's all these things that happen in the body. So, what am I saying? Am I saying that sitting in the CEO pose will make you more confident? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, why do I bring that up? Because your internal is just as reflective as of your external as the other way around. And I bring that up to say that I touch on the style and needing some maybe external help on the style, because it is reflective of the internal. And if internally you've been stuck for a while, you're probably not in a place where you can very easily just, switch it up. Maybe you need someone to be like, you don't stand up straight. Maybe you need to do some yoga. You're wearing stuff that middle-aged people were wearing in the 90s. Let's move it along. Do you need to like have your pants hanging off your ass now all of a sudden? No, but there are very respectable tapered jeans. You could, start going to the gym twice a week, 3 times a week. Like, there are things that when you are coming out of a long period of sadness or rejection or self-afflicted, loneliness, what have you, however, what's been going on. We've been talking about it for months, right? So now that you guys are starting to feel better and things are starting to move, and with your birthday coming up, there's a push here for you to be the earth sign that you are, and indulge in that corporal kind of material existence, but not in the way that you guys generally like to indulge, which is to overindulge in the things that, let's say, are expansive, as opposed to the other way. So, what am I saying? I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just saying that my nose is itching so much. Sorry. I'm just saying that you're coming up on a time where, your new year is going to start, and with everything starting to move in the right direction for you, and might be a good time for just seeking some, help in that arena. That's all. Okay, let's move along. So, what do we have so far? 6 of Pentacles, okay, and Knight of Cups, okay? So, I think when I get tired, my eyes cross. I've heard a friend of mine who's an actress told me that once, that happens to her, and that's when the director can tell that they have to like cup for the night, because like her eyes starts going in different directions. Like the muscles in one of her eyes must be weaker than the other. I think that same thing might happen to me. I'm just going to be careful now. Okay, so Knight of Cups. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Water sign, right? Knight of Cups has come up also in the Virgo reading. So that's interesting. So both earth signs that I've read for so far have this Knight of Cups. Okay. So if you're dealing with a Knight of Cups, let's say in relation to this Six of Pentacles energy, interestingly, the Devil has come up, and the King of Cups. The Devil also came up in the Virgo reading that I did hours and hours ago, and the King of Cups. So let's see here. You know, last month there was a bit of a backlash on the reading, just because a lot of people felt like I was giving you good news, but then I was also being harsh by telling you that you guys can be harsh and that you should be careful and not to hurt people who don't, you know, really deserve it. And there was like quite a lot of back and forth. And I've been thinking about it, you know, about how to handle it. And instead of handling it, I'm just going to give you my honest response, which is that yeah, it doesn't matter how you justify it. That's still how it goes. Like, it doesn't matter if you say, no, but all these people do stuff to me, and then when I can't take it anymore, that's when I show my horns, and that's when I get upset. Right, I understand that, but that's still not the point, because you might have a really great reason for a drive-by, but if you kill an innocent bystander, it's still your fault. Doesn't matter why you were engaged in the drive-by in the first place, right? So that kind of like circular logic that you guys can have, it bothers me sometimes, because it's like, no, I would rather you just own that and say, yeah, sometimes I do that because I can have a nasty temper. You know, who can't have a nasty temper? Everyone can have a nasty temper. And you guys in particular, when you are triggered, can be mean, you know? So the hesitancy that you feel on my part about a lot of things that I would like to say is just because, you know, again, the same sentiment as the Virgo reading. Maybe perhaps it's an earth sign thing. It's the way earth signs and air signs perhaps are communicating. But the advice has got to be worth the backlash. Do you understand? Like, if it's important enough to get into the muck with you, then I feel like I should tell you. Otherwise, I feel like I should just keep it to myself. But that's really because I just would rather not have the misconstruing. Like, it bothered me. It bothered me that you guys, a lot of you took that in that direction. Like, instead of owning something that I think everyone who's ever met a Taurus knows. Like, it wasn't like I was saying anything that was in any way novel. Like, you guys can have nasty tempers and you can be really mean. And most of the times you don't direct it at the thing that really deserves it. You sublimate until you can't, like, until there's no room left, and then you kind of like charge. And yeah, that's what I was getting at. So now it becomes about the reaction to it and my reaction to that. And we have to remember that this is a reactive relationship just because you are the sign before me. So every sign that is right next to each other, both the signs have what the other sign lacks. Okay, so there's probably some basic understanding here that I'm missing. So I'm just going to forge ahead and give you my honest opinion now that I've given you that like caveat, okay? So my honest opinion is that you have an aspect to your nature that is sensual and indulgent. And one of the ways in which you are indulgent is that you can let yourself go physically and mentally. You can just let yourself get so complacent that it's just hard to dig yourself out after you've been in that place for a while. And I think one of the things here that's coming up again, see, there's the Knight of Cups and then the King of Cups. I feel like somebody here is going to become really important in your life. Obviously, it could be a water sign, but it could be someone who has a water sign in Venus. It could be a rising. It could be a moon, right? Depends on what aspect of them you guys interact with. So let me show you these cards as I pull some more, and we can talk about who this water sign person is. And also, you know, there's the obvious Capricorn, like if you are engaged in a relationship with a Capricorn, I want to say, especially if it's a money relationship, because money is playing an issue here. And I think the way in which it's playing an issue is that you need to not only think of new ways to be yourself and to look like yourself, but you also need to think of new ways to use the money that you have. Like, are you the typical Taurus who works hard and saves money and it's just sitting there and doing nothing? Or is your money working for you? You know, do you make money while you sleep with the money that you have saved up, or is it just sitting there? Right? Like, there are new things coming in here in terms of like how you see yourself and how you see other Venusian things like money, right? So during the retrograde of your ruler, these are all things that you're being asked to take a look at again. And I think that these people here are meant to help you on that journey, but also there are messages here. The major arcana are always messages to us, regardless of what other cards they're informing in the reading. So the Devil here is still a message to you of that indulgent, you know, 7 deadly sins kind of thing that you guys can be guilty of. And now the 3 of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups. Well, great. You know, because here we are moving into the end of the month where you're finally feeling so much better about yourself and hopefully looking more like how you're feeling inside, okay? And that brings us to a place of completion where something is getting done and everyone feels like they're being heard, and yeah, things are promising. And then, of course, we love the 6 of Cups. More cups, yay. We love the 6 of Cups. So, like, meeting someone or reconnecting with someone. Both of them very possible right now. Right? Because this 3 of Pentacles, this card of fruition, is always a really positive card to have here. I'm sorry, my voice just dropped because I got really tired. But I like actually being a little bit drained when I do your readings because I think I'm usually a little too hyper for you guys. Again, embodying that which, you know, the sign before does not have, and vice versa. So, 6 of Cups, we always like the 6 of Cups. Okay. Well, you know, there are things to be looked at and thought of anew, and that's not an easy process for you guys. I sympathize with you. I know that this is not going to be an easy transition back into the light. You know, this Tower card here for me is about you guys stepping back into the light and how jarring that is. You know, after you've been in the dark for a while, if you come out into the bright sunlight or into a bright room, you know how awful that feeling is, where your eyes just, you're blinded by, overwhelmed by the light, even though the light is such a positive thing, but in that moment, you're just like, ah. You know, that is how I'm interpreting the Tower card here, because there are good things coming up for you, and for the most part, the reading is very positive. But again, the major arcana are direct messages to you as well, right? In terms of just guidance of what you should do, what's going to happen and how it's going to go, basically, you know, but also speaking directly to you in terms of how you should prepare yourself. And the tarot, you know, can be used in that way to look, can be used as a mirror to look at yourself. And here the Tower is asking you, you know, how does your ascent back into the light, how does crawling out of that grave you dug for yourself years ago, how does that reinvention of self look? Great card. When you come out of the light, how do you handle that jarring experience of being blinded by the light? Why did I just do that? Oh my God, I'm so loopy when I'm tired. I can't believe I just did that. And I had like full on Guardians of the Galaxy, like that guy in my mind. How do you react to being blinded by the light? Because the thing is, Taurus, everything's going to be great. You guys waited it out. You got through it. It's been really tough. No question. But now that you're going to start getting what you want, can you adjust? Especially after Venus goes direct and Mercury goes retrograde. Trick question? Not really. The point is, you're going to start feeling better. Is it going to be a jarring process? Absolutely. But you know what? You have bigger things to do here. You got to start like getting yourself together for this. You got to show up to this party appropriately dressed and feeling fit and feeling good. You know, if you're on the verge of meeting, like, really, this is somebody like that you're like, oh, word. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, that if you're on the verge of meeting, then how are you looking for that? Okay. So this idea of new body, new mind, right? One of the other things you can do to take yourself from this jarring experience of things getting better to, you know, actually believing that you deserve this better life and not sabotaging it. One of the things you can do is you can spend 3 weeks just giving yourself simple affirmations like, I deserve a beautiful life. You know, it's been proven that 3 weeks of saying that to yourself over and over again every day for 10 minutes will improve your actual blood chemistry. You know, the way your hormones play with each other in the blood and create your mood will change if you do that simple affirmation every day for 3 weeks, because your brain will rewire thanks to something called neural plasticity, which is a concept I'm going to talk a lot about in the book that I have coming out in the spring called The Inner Work of Tarot. But stuff like that, where you use the mind-body connection to rewire the brain and therefore have a much more positive self-image and body image, you know, which is part of the self-image. So new body, new mind is the name of the game, and that's very convenient considering you guys have your birthdays coming up. And all you need to do, remember, the devil's sin was pride. All you need to do is get your pride out of the way so you can let people help you, but also you can let people in. You know, these people want to get in. These people want to love you. These people want to become greater in stature in your life. And you have options. So I would say to honor this and to honor this good luck and all these things changing and getting better for you, you know, do some affirmations. Spend some time, you know, doing those power poses that I just talked about. You know, get yourself in like a yummy state of mind and state of body so you can properly celebrate when you meet this person, or this thing that you wanted to bring to fruition finally starts to go your way, you know? That's, all right. Oh. Let's see. 6 of Swords. 4 of Pentacles. The Hermit. Okay. 5 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Cups. Awesome. So we're going from a place, this is a very extended outcome, but that's okay, that's good. Leaving behind the old self, the limiting beliefs about money, the social isolation, the depth of misery, moving forward into luck and love, abundant. These 2 cards in the same reading, Taurus, we're doing very well. Okay? To go in sequence from here to here, from here to here to here. Fantastic. Okay, movement. Moving on up. To the east side. To the deluxe apartment. I love the Jeffersons growing up. Yo, I watched so much Jeffersons growing up. That's crazy. Okay, so we're moving on up, Taurus. You gotta leave this limiting stuff behind now. Enough with this. Get yourself a new look. Get yourself, talk to one of your friends. Ask them honestly. Ask them honestly. Be like, what would you, you know, do you like the way I dress? Do you like, what would you change? You know, like I have a Taurus friend, she kept going on job interviews and she kept saying, I don't know, I'm just not getting the job. And she was interviewing at like these really hip, like makeup places, and they were really cool, right? Like flying out to all these different countries in Europe and, you know, doing interviews because she was highly qualified. And like how perfect, right? Like a Venusian working in, you know, cosmetics. And she kept saying like, I don't know, like it seems to go really well like on paper, and then I get there and we have the, you know, we have the interviews and like they're not hiring me. And immediately I was like, what are you wearing? Like, cause I just knew, cause her style was just like off. I don't know, there was just something off about it. And she showed me a couple of like, you know, selfies she had taken, and here and there, like a couple of pieces that she had worn. And she was wearing, in 2016, she was wearing pearls to her interviews at like super hip places in like Paris and Milan, you know, that are coming out with like super hip little boutique makeup, makeup, and like not like hip pearls with like a ironic Moschino sweater or something, like not like in an ironic way. She was like for real rocking pearls with like a cardigan. I'm not getting on you guys. I'm just explaining to you that sometimes y'all get stuck. And sometimes when you can get stuck in like an unfortunate era, or like something that was really cool when you were doing it, however long ago, but now you need to just, we need to move it. So just be honest. Ask one of your friends that you love, that really like, that you trust, or get like a video reading from me, so I can be honest with you and tell you what you're doing, because I'll tell you. But or just honestly get one of your friends to just be like, tell me, what would you, if is there anything that you think that I do that you would change, like in terms of the way I do my hair or the color of my hair, or maybe you're stuck in like a weird hairstyle from 10 years. It happens. So no judgment, no judgment. Everyone gets stuck in some way or other, okay? So, but have someone look at it with you and perhaps, take you shopping. So, happy birthday. It was a very good reading. I hope we didn't wave too many red flags in front of you guys. And I love you. And I will be in San Francisco from April 1st to the 8th, in LA from the 8th to the 12th, and back in San Francisco from the 12th to the 18th. So if you would like a reading in any of those places, or you would like to set up group readings, or you would like to set up a meet and greet, please email me at the address below. Also, I'm going to have a book coming out in the spring called The Inner Work of Tarot. I'll tell you more about that. The best place to learn more about that will be on Instagram. My Instagram is at AmberCon, so there's going to be pretty consistently, there will be excerpts up from the book. So that's how to keep in touch the most easily as well, along with the Facebook page, where you can also buy readings at the Facebook page, like simply by clicking at the page. So you don't even have to like go through the whole thing of like emailing me and finding stuff out. Like everything is there and it's all like in a shop, and yeah. So there's that, and that's it. All right, I love you guys. I will see you in May.